My husband took a photo of my antidepressants on the nightstand and sent it to his mistress so she could publicly mock me. But let me tell you how I got to that point, because this story starts in a way you'd never imagine. I met Michael on a completely ordinary day, with zero expectations. I had just gone through the worst phase of my life. My first husband had passed away. I was alone with a 2-year-old baby. And honestly, I wasn't looking for anyone. When a friend invited me to lunch at her workplace, I just wanted a moment to breathe from the heavy routine of being a single mom. He was there. Michael. He worked at the same store as my friend, a timeshare company in Houston. She later told me, "He was interested in you." I remember laughing and thinking, not my type. Tall, short hair, smile too easy for someone like me, who was just trying to survive one day at a time. But he started messaging me on Instagram, first for coffee, then for lunch. Nothing invasive, nothing desperate, just light, funny conversations. And you know what impressed me most on that first real date? When we ordered food, he ordered a Coke. Simple as that. It might seem silly, but to me that meant everything. My first husband had developed a serious problem with alcohol, and I had sworn to myself that I would never again live through that hell of nights waiting for someone to come home drunk, pointless arguments, fear, and unpredictability. Seeing Michael order a soda while I had a drink was like a sign that maybe, this time, things could be different. The dates happened slowly, respecting my time. I had Lorena to protect. I couldn't just bring men into her life without being absolutely sure. Michael understood that from day one. "When you feel ready, I'd love to meet your daughter," he said. No pressure, no ultimatums. When it finally happened, he was introduced as Mommy's friend. Lorena was 2 years old. She was shy with strangers, always clinging to my leg whenever someone new appeared. But with Michael, she smiled. He crouched down to her level, showed her some silly drawings on his phone, made funny voices. Nothing forced, nothing theatrical, just genuine. I watched his every move, every word, every reaction. I was testing. I was scared. But he passed all the tests. He never tried to discipline her. Never said, "If I were you, I'd do it this way." He just played, laughed, and gradually became part of our world without invading our space. When he took me to meet his parents, I was shaking inside. I changed outfits 3 times before leaving. I thought, how is this family going to receive me? A single woman, with a daughter from another relationship, living in a rental, working with makeup once in a while. I felt small, inadequate, not enough. The answer came in his mother's first hug. She looked at Lorena and said, "Come here, Grandma." Not, "Come here, sweetie," or "Hi, little one." She said Grandma, as if there was no doubt. As if Lorena was already a granddaughter, as if I was already part of the family. His father hugged her and asked, "Do you like ice cream?" They embraced her like their own blood. Michael's sisters were many. The house always full of people, noise, laughter. I loved that chaos. I came from a lonely childhood. My mother died of cancer when I was a child. I was raised by my paternal grandparents, separated from my siblings. I never had this feeling of belonging to something bigger. And suddenly I had it. A huge, loud, loving family. Michael was everything I never had in a partner. He tied my shoelaces when he saw they were untied. He worried if my clothes were wrinkled before I went out. "Wait, let me iron that for you," he'd say, grabbing the iron without me asking. They were small gestures, but they said, "I see you, I care, you're not alone." We moved in together. It wasn't a hasty decision. It just made sense. He spent so much time at my place that one day we looked at each other and said, "Why not?" We did a common law marriage, that type of marriage recognized in Texas without needing a formal ceremony. And then came the surprise. I was pregnant. I panicked. Lorena was still small. I had just started working more, had rented a small office to do makeup and eyelash extensions. I thought, no, not now. We have so many plans, so many things to organize first. But Michael? He was radiant in a way I'd never seen. "Relax, it's okay. I'm going to be a father," he said, holding my face. And he was the most incredible father throughout the entire pregnancy. He'd put me on the couch, do everything around the house, pick up and drop off Lorena at school so I wouldn't strain myself. "You're creating a human being in there. Leave the rest to me." When Bella was born, He'd wake up with me in the middle of the night. Not just wake up, he'd stay. He'd change diapers, rock her, walk around the house with her when she cried. Go back to sleep, I've got her, he'd say. And I'd look at that man and think, this can't be real. Men like this don't actually exist. Lorena's paternal family also stayed present. Days before Bella was born, her grandmother and aunt came to the house to wash baby clothes, iron each one, organize the nursery, set up the crib. They did for me what a mother would do, because I didn't have a mother to do that. Our routine was perfect, or at least I thought it was. We'd have dinner together every day at the same table. No matter what time Michael got home from work, 8, 9, 10 at night, I'd wait. Those 40 minutes around the table with the girls telling about their day, Michael laughing at their stories, me serving food, that was sacred to us. After dinner, I'd wash the dishes. He'd put the girls to bed. He'd read stories, make up voices, make them laugh until they fell asleep. Sometimes he was so tired he'd fall asleep with them, sprawled out on their twin bed. I'd go there, wake him gently, and we'd go to our room. We didn't have passwords on each other's phones because we didn't need them. He'd show me funny messages from clients. I'd show him conversations with friends. There were no secrets, no mistrust. He talked about me in company meetings with pride. Colleagues would tell me, he doesn't stop talking about you, said he gave you a car as a gift. I'd look at that man, at that life we'd built, and think, this can't be real. Nobody's this perfect. Couples don't work like this. There must be something wrong that I'm not seeing. But I'd look, and find nothing. Just a good man, a present father, a real partner. Then, in 2022, came the promotion. From salesman to sales supervisor. He'd lead an entire team. Financially, it would be incredible for us. Almost double the salary. But it meant more responsibility, more pressure, more time away from home. He sat down with me in the living room and said, I need you to focus more on the girls in the house. I'm going to have a lot of responsibilities now. I closed my small makeup office without thinking twice. I was starting to get good clientele, making money on weekends while he stayed with the girls. But that's what a couple did, right? One supported the other. He had supported me when Lorena was born, when I lost my first husband, when I was starting out. Now it was my turn. August 2022. He organized a party to celebrate the new team. He rented a house with a pool on the outskirts of Houston. He invited me to come later with the girls. Come in the afternoon, bring the girls, it'll be fun. I went. I arrived with Lorena and Bella, both excited because there was a pool. I greeted everyone, the men, the women, the entire team. Most of them I already knew from other company parties over the years, but there was one saleswoman I'd never seen before, Amanda. Long hair, tall, thin. When our eyes met, something inside me shivered. I can't explain exactly what it was. It wasn't dislike. It was premonition. Her look wasn't, hi, nice to meet my boss's wife. It was, who are you and why are you here? Cold, calculated, like I was an intruder. The other saleswomen came to talk to me, ask questions about the girls, compliment my hair. Amanda stayed on the other side of the pool, playing pool with the men, actively avoiding me. I got home that night and, as I always did, told Michael everything. We were best friends. He was the person I told everything to. Who is that saleswoman, Amanda? He didn't even think before answering. Oh, she's married. I stopped, blinked. I only asked who she is. I didn't ask if she's married. It was a strange response. Defensive. Unnecessary. And that answer planted the first seed of doubt in my mind. A tiny seed that I tried to ignore, that I tried to pull out before it grew. But that would take exactly a full year to germinate and show me the truth I never wanted to see. I tried to ignore that unease. I swear I tried. But that feeling stayed there, throbbing quietly in the back of my mind like a toothache you try to forget but can't. A few days after the party, Michael posted Instagram stories. Nothing much. A photo of a beer, of the pool, a sunset. But when I went to see who had viewed them, I noticed something. Amanda had liked all of them, with little red hearts. I went to the profiles of the other saleswomen on the team. They viewed the stories, yes, but none of them reacted. Just her, just Amanda, with her little hearts on every single post of his. I decided to test it. I took a selfie of us, me and Michael together, posted it on my Instagram. She viewed it in less than 5 minutes and didn't like it, didn't react, just viewed it and moved on, as if I were invisible. I told my sister-in-law. "I think I'm getting jealous," I said, almost laughing at myself. She rolled her eyes. "Jessica, relax. My brother is crazy about you. You're overthinking." I started therapy on Saturdays. I brought it up there. There's a saleswoman who looked at me strangely at the party. I can't stop thinking about it. My therapist asked, "Have you tried talking openly with him?" I tried, but whenever I touched on the subject, he got defensive. "You're overthinking," he'd say. "I work with her, Jessica. I can't be rude." October 2022. We went to a romantic cabin in Wimberley, a beautiful place in the Texas Hill Country. It should have been perfect. But Michael spent the entire weekend on his laptop, working. He left his phone on the bed when he went to shower. The notification lit up right in front of me. "Amanda liked your story. Red heart." I opened his Instagram with a trembling hand. He had posted photos of the cabin, of the wine we were drinking, of the pizza we ordered, couple things, intimate things. And she had liked all of them, all with hearts. Nobody else had reacted. Just her, always her. I came back from that trip with constant anxiety, like I was waiting for a tragedy I knew was coming, but couldn't see yet. I started having insomnia, and something fundamental in me changed. I had no desire for him anymore. None. Zero. Company parties started multiplying. Michael started attending all of them and coming home smelling like alcohol, something that had never happened in our years together. One Friday in November, he said he was going to see a client in Austin. "I'll be back at night." 7 at night, no message. 8, 9, 10, nothing. Midnight, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. I paced around the living room, calling and going straight to voicemail. At 2:30 in the morning, he came in, went straight to shower. When he lay down, I asked, "Where were you?" He didn't even open his eyes. Took longer with the client. I waited for him to start snoring. I grabbed his phone, unlocked it. We still used each other's fingerprints. Opened WhatsApp, went to the sales team group, and there it was, posted at 8:20. A selfie of him with Amanda, both smiling, with the caption, "Another sale closed." But he had told me he was with John, the salesman. Why was he with Amanda? Why did he lie? In the morning, I showed him the photo. "You said you were with John, but there's this photo of you with Amanda. Why did you lie?" He blinked, confused, clearly trying to remember what he had said. "Oh, it's because she was also at the client. John left earlier. I stayed finishing up with her." The explanation came out too quick, too rehearsed. I saw the lie forming in his eyes, but I didn't have proof, just intuition. I did something desperate. I called Amanda. "Hi, Amanda. I'm Jessica, Michael's wife. It came to me that you two are having an affair. I just want to know the truth." Silence. Then a short laugh. Her voice came cold, cutting. "I'm very happily married, Jessica. Very happily married. Watch your words when talking to me. You don't know who you're dealing with." And she hung up. Michael came home furious. "How are you going to call my saleswoman accusing her? This is absurd, Jessica. You're destroying my work." I cried in therapy. I did something horrible. Now he's furious. Even my therapist thought I was overreacting. Jealousy is normal, Jessica, but you need to trust him. I called Amanda back to apologize. She accepted with polite coldness. But the moment I hung up, something inside me broke. She wasn't just confident. She was protected. Michael was on her side, defending her against me. November 2022, day before Thanksgiving. Michael came into the kitchen already dressed. "I'm going to a company party." I stopped chopping onions. "What party? You didn't tell me anything." "Ah, I only found out this morning." I wiped my hands on the dish towel. "We could have gone together." "The party's open to spouses, isn't it?" He already had the car key in his hand. "Yeah, but I thought you were too busy." But I saw it in his eyes. He simply didn't want me to go. December came with New Year's. We went to visit his family. That New Year's Eve night, I saw Michael completely drunk for the first time in my life. Actually drunk, stumbling, slurring his words. He gave a playful sweep of the leg to one of the family's friends. The guy fell hard, got furious, and left. At 2 in the morning, I carried him to the car and drove more than an hour back to Houston. He was in the passenger seat, still drunk, but conscious enough to talk. And what he said haunts me to this day. Do you love me? Say you'll never leave me. Never. No matter what happens. He repeated it over and over. No matter what happens, you'll never leave me. Promise. I was driving on the empty highway, and those words sounded like a confession, as if he already knew what was coming. January 2023. It was Lorena's birthday, and I booked a resort we loved. It would be a trip to reconnect, forget the tension. We agreed to leave at 9 in the morning. 9:30, Michael wasn't ready. 10 o'clock, still on his phone. I was nervous. Michael, we agreed on 9 o'clock. We're late. He exploded, yelled at me in front of the girls for the first time. You have to understand I'm working. If you're annoyed, take the car and go by yourself. We arrived at the resort and he took the twin bed, left me in the queen bed with the girls. In 10 years together, we had never slept separately. But there he was, on his phone, laughing at something on the screen, as if we were ghosts. February arrived and everything fell apart. Michael spent an entire holiday drinking, beer after beer, as if he were running from something. We came back to Houston on a Tuesday. On Wednesday morning, I received a message. We need to talk this afternoon. My stomach dropped. 5 in the afternoon, he arrived. He stood in the living room, didn't even take off his shoes. We need to talk, he repeated. I know you're trying, but it's not working anymore. Just that. It's not working anymore. No explanation. Michael, wait. What do you mean? We can go to couples therapy, There's nothing more to talk about, Jessica. And he left. He left me there, with 2 daughters, in an apartment in his name, with a car in his name, with no fixed income, without understanding what had just happened to my life. The following days were a blur. He didn't answer messages, didn't answer calls, disappeared completely. Until one night he sent flowers, red roses, a dozen, with a card. I miss you. The whole family sprang into action. You need to give each other a chance. Even my therapist suggested trying again. I gave in. At Carnival, his mother organized a weekend for us. I got dressed up, put on the dress he liked, tried to look like the woman he fell in love with. We went to dinner. He barely touched my hand. He was cold, mechanical. What happened, Michael? He sighed. You don't let me go to company parties. We went home that night. I still had hope. We had sex. It was mechanical, distant. At dawn, he wasn't in bed. I found him in the bathroom, sitting on the floor, crying. Michael? He lifted his destroyed face. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve any of this, Jessica. But he didn't explain. The next day, everyone thought we had worked it out. Monday, he went to work. Tuesday, I received the message. I can't. Sorry, but I can't. Wednesday, he showed up to get clothes. I tried to talk. I tried to beg. Please just explain to me what I did wrong. He stopped at the door, then said without turning, It's not about you. It's about me. And he left. I collapsed on the floor. And the worst part? I still didn't know why. I still didn't know that while I was begging for answers, he was already with her, had already chosen her, and was just waiting for the right moment to discard me. March 2023. Michael left, and I simply couldn't process reality. I'd wake up, take the girls to school, come back and lie down. I'd stay there from 9 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. 5-6 hours lost every day, escaping from my own life. A friend called, Karen. Jessica, you need to get out of that house. She was planning to go to the Skywheel in Houston. Come with me. Karen was direct. Send him a message and tell him he's picking up the girls today. You're drowning and you don't even realize it. With a trembling hand, I wrote, Can you pick up the girls from school today at 3? I spent the entire day with Karen. For the first time in weeks, I really laughed. But when I got home at 7, the way he looked at me, it wasn't, Hi, how was your day? It was, Who are you with? Who are you with, Jessica? His voice had an aggressiveness I'd never heard. I could have laughed if it weren't so absurd. He leaves me, disappears for weeks, and now he's jealous? I understood then. He hadn't left because he didn't want me. He had left because he had someone else waiting. Michael started showing up with excuses to see the girls. He tried to touch me, tried to kiss me. Just one kiss, Jessica. Because of what we had. I'd locked the bedroom door. Until one day, he showed up at lunchtime. Lorena had stayed home sick. He came right in. He still had a key. He found me in the bathroom. He started taking off his clothes. No, Michael, no. But he continued as if he still had rights over my body, until Lorena appeared at the door. She was 11 years old. Mommy? He froze, got dressed in 5 seconds, left without saying a word. That same week, I received a message. Unknown number. Jessica, did you know that Michael is having an affair with Amanda? I work at the company. Her boyfriend found out and kicked her out. My heart stopped. Amanda, the saleswoman, the strange look, the obsessive likes. Everything made sense now. It wasn't craziness. It wasn't paranoia. It was real. My intuition was right all along. I got the boyfriend's number. I called. Hi, my name is Jessica. I'm Michael's wife. Can you confirm he and Amanda are having an affair? Yes, I suspected. She started coming home late, buying expensive sneakers, brand name clothes. If it's your husband, it makes total sense. I sent Michael a message. I already know the whole truth. It was a pleasure talking to Amanda's ex. My phone started ringing. Messages started coming. Answer. You're not woman enough to talk face to face? I'm very happy here. It was her. Amanda. Then came the photo. I was shaking so much I could barely focus. It was my nightstand. My Zoloft antidepressants, the packaging clearly visible. He had photographed it, sent it to her, so she could mock me. Look at this. Now she's even depressed. The message came right after the photo. I cried like I'd never cried in my life, because my best friend had used my most intimate pain to humiliate me with his mistress. I called his mother. I filed a police report for the threats and harassment. The following days were the darkest of my life. I had lost almost 15 pounds. I'd look in the mirror and not recognize the woman looking back. Sunken eyes, pale skin, lifeless hair. I'd look at the girls and think, how am I going to do this alone? I didn't have a steady job. I didn't have a car. I was completely, absolutely alone with 2 children depending on me. And then, one dawn in April, I was lying looking at the ceiling at 4 in the morning, and for the first time in my life I thought, it would be easier not to be here. Because for the first time I understood how someone gets to that point. It's slow, gradual, like sinking in quicksand. One day you're fighting, the next you're tired, the next you stop fighting, and suddenly you don't see any more light, any way out. I woke up that April morning, and something inside me had changed. It was simple and desperate. Either I got up now, or I was never going to be able to. And I had 2 girls who needed me. I called my lawyer before even brushing my teeth. I need to file for alimony and division of assets. Today, now. I started gathering every paper that proved our union. Each document felt like a step away from that dark abyss, one step at a time. Michael started cutting me off financially. I'm going to pay rent for 2 more months. After that, you're on your own. Michael, I need the car at least. Him. The car had a problem. It's at the shop. Week after week, always the same excuse. I knew I'd never see that car again. May came like a bomb. He showed up with 2 men and a U-Haul. You're leaving this apartment. Today. I spent the night packing boxes with Lorena helping me, my 12-year-old daughter crying softly while she packed her own toys. The new apartment was in Katy, delivered by the builder a week before. No furniture, no curtains. I arrived there the week of my 30th birthday with everything squeezed into boxes. 30 years old. Instead of celebration, I was there sleeping on a mattress on the floor with 2 scared daughters, with nothing. The day after the move, my old neighbor sent a photo. Amanda's red Hyundai was parked in my old spot. She had moved into the apartment that was mine. He simply replaced me. Then I started getting calls. Hi, I saw your ad for a refrigerator on Craigslist. Me? Selling a refrigerator? It was fake ads with my real cell number, my address, my Venmo data. She had access to the police report. My new address was there. She was posting fake ads trying to put me in danger. I filed another police report. May turned into June. June turned into July. I'd wake up at 6, get the girls ready, go to job interviews, come back running to pick them up, do homework, make dinner, and at night, I'd sit on the floor and cry. But the next day, I'd wake up again. Get up again. Continue again. Because giving up meant leaving my daughters without a mother. Then in July, someone from the company texted, Jessica, your Jeep is here in the company parking lot. I grabbed the spare key. I went there. I saw my silver Jeep Grand Cherokee. I grabbed my phone to film, proof for the lawyer. Amanda got out of a red Hyundai. "Get out of here. Now!" she charged. Didn't yell, didn't give warning. She simply charged with her gel nails going straight for my face. I grabbed her hair. She scratched my face. Female employees separated us. She grabbed my purse and threw it into the middle of Westheimer Road, the busy avenue. Cars honking, braking. Michael came running. He looked at me with anger. "What are you doing here, Jessica?" A lawyer from the building next door ran down. "I saw everything. We're calling the police." We went to the downtown Houston police station. I stayed in a small room for hours. My dad brought Bella to the station. When she came in and saw Mommy with a scratched face sitting in a police station, my heart broke. We filed police reports. Mutual assault, they classified it. We left at 11 at night, 8 hours in there. The next day was Bella's birthday, July 5th. I woke up swollen, bruised. I put on makeup to cover the scratches, because she deserved a happy birthday. The following week, knock on the door, several police officers. "Jessica Martinez?" We received an anonymous report of child neglect. Child Protective Services. Someone had called saying I mistreated the girls, that I took antidepressants and couldn't take care of them properly. The agents inspected everything. After an hour, "Everything is in order. We're going to file the report as unfounded." But the damage was done. I sat on the floor and realized she was going to keep trying to destroy me, and Michael was going to let her. But in that moment, something inside me hardened. I had reached rock bottom and survived. And if I was strong enough to survive this, I was strong enough to rebuild. I updated my resume, applied to 30 jobs in one night. A week later, I got 3 calls. 2 weeks later, I got a steady job in an accounting office. It didn't pay much, but it paid enough. And that small victory was the first ray of light after months of absolute darkness. August 2023, first day at the new job. I put on a black blazer I found at Goodwill for $8. I looked in the mirror and whispered, "You can do this." Administrative assistant in a small accounting office in Katy. Nothing glamorous, but it had benefits, fixed salary, defined schedule. In the first months, every penny was counted. I had a spreadsheet on my phone. The girls ate well, always. I'd skip lunch to save money, but they had fruits, protein, real food. The legal process dragged on. My lawyer filed for alimony. Michael contested everything. He claimed the car had a $20,000 problem, that he had sold it for $5,000 in cash to an acquaintance. Obvious fraud, but proving it in Texas court was another story. Meanwhile, Bella went to Michael's house every 2 weeks, and she always came back with something broken. iPad, thermal bottle, lunchbox container. October. Bella finally exploded in tears. "Mommy, I can't tell you. Daddy said if I tell you, you'll make a fuss." "Love, you can tell me anything. I promise there won't be a fuss." Amanda breaks things. She gets mad, fights with Daddy, and breaks my things. She threatened to kill my fish. They fought. She threw beer into my fish tank and said, "Do you want me to kill your fish, Bella?" It was an adult woman breaking a 7-year-old child's things during anger fits. I recorded Bella telling this, sent it to my lawyer. While I waited for justice, I started posting about it on TikTok anonymously. My daughter came back from her dad's house with things broken by the stepmother. What do I do? What impacted me most was realizing I wasn't alone. Dozens, hundreds of women. I went through the same thing. You're strong. November, second hearing. The buyer didn't show up. The judge was visibly irritated. The decision came out. Bella, 20% of his income, about $800 a month. For me, denied. The petitioner is young, able to work, and the union lasted less than 10 years. Suffered no damages. As if psychological trauma weren't damage. As if having to start over at 30 with 2 daughters weren't damage. But the law is the law. December arrived. 1 year since everything fell apart. I saved money for 4 months. In January 2024, I bought a car. A 2015 Honda Civic with 80,000 miles. But it was mine. Bought with my money. In my name. I cried when I signed the papers. That car meant freedom. February. I bought a couch at IKEA. Lorena helped me assemble it. Bella got a real bed. Lorena too. Little by little, Those walls were becoming a home. March. Michael was finally forced to reveal the buyer's name. My lawyer investigated. The address didn't exist. Documented fraud. I started researching community colleges, enrolled for an associate's degree in business administration. I was making less than $15 an hour, but I had determination. April, 1 year since the police station. I passed by it coming back from work and realized I had survived. Not just survived, I had rebuilt. But in May, Bella came back from his house and said something that would completely change everything. May 2025. Bella was quieter than normal. Didn't run to hug me. She stood at the door looking at the floor. Honey, did something happen? I sat with her on the couch. Mommy, Amanda came back. They got back together. And Mommy, she had a baby. The world stopped. A baby? Daddy said he's my little brother. But I don't want another sibling, Mom. Please don't send me there anymore. I immediately called my informant from the company. Did you know Amanda had a baby? Heavy silence. Then, Jessica, she was already pregnant before. In 2023, right after Michael left your house. She gave him an ultimatum. Said she was pregnant and that he had to choose. Either stay with you or stay with her and the baby. My blood froze. He left me because she was pregnant? But here's where it gets worse. She lost the baby. Or said she lost it. It was in April 2023, and even after losing it, he didn't come back to you, because his pride wouldn't let him. And she held on to him until she got pregnant again, this time for real. He didn't leave me because he stopped loving me. He left because he thought he was going to be a father. All that destruction, it was because she lied about a pregnancy. The next day, I received a call. Jessica, I was a saleswoman at Michael's company. The company closed. It went bankrupt. It wasn't normal bankruptcy. It was fraud. A Ponzi scheme. It's in the news now. I ran to the laptop. There it was. Timeshare company in Houston investigated for millionaire fraud. Hundreds of clients lose savings in sophisticated scam. The supervisors knew. They had to know. The commissions were too high. How does a supervisor buy a brand new Jeep, pay for an expensive apartment, travel every month? The numbers never added up. 2022, the year he was promoted. The year the money started flowing. The year he changed personality. It wasn't just the affair. It wasn't just Amanda. He was involved in something much bigger, much dirtier. And when he realized everything was falling apart, he started getting rid of everything. That's why he sold my Jeep to a phantom buyer. That's why he forced me out so fast. He was erasing tracks, hiding assets before the authorities arrived. I called my lawyer. Did you see the news? I saw. Jessica, this changes everything. If he was receiving money from illicit activity, all assets are proceeds of crime. But it also means you can't be legally held responsible for anything he did. You left before the shit hit the fan. You're clean. Michael was subpoenaed by federal justice. Not about our divorce, about financial fraud. The charge was heavy. Conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, aggravated theft. Amanda left when she found out about the investigation. She stayed exactly 1 week after the federal subpoena. She took the baby and left. Of course, she never loved him. She loved the money. When the money dried up, she ran. He tried to call me after that. On the 10th attempt, I answered. What, Michael? His voice came out broken. Jessica, I messed up everything. You were right, about everything. You think one phone call erases 2 years of hell? You think sorry fixes anything? He was crying. I lost everything. I lost you. I lost the girls. I lost my job. I might go to jail. Amanda left with my son and won't let me see him. I have nobody. Part of me felt sorry. But the bigger part, the part that survived, that rebuilt, that slept on the floor hugging 2 scared daughters, said, You made your choices, Michael. Every single one of them. You chose her. You chose the lie. You chose dirty money. Now live with the consequences. I hung up. I blocked the number. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt true closure. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about him suffering. It was about understanding that I had been saved. If I had stayed, I'd be sinking with him now. I'd be being interrogated, investigated, possibly accused as an accomplice. But I had been betrayed. I had been abandoned. And that betrayal had saved me from something much worse. Sometimes God, the universe, fate, whatever you believe, removes you from situations not because you asked, but because you need to be far from what's coming. June came and I sat down with Lorena and Bella. Daddy made bad choices. Choices that hurt many people, not just us. He's facing consequences now. You have a little brother you might meet one day? Maybe not. But what matters is that the three of us are okay. We're together and we're safe. Lorena, now 13. Mom, I knew something was wrong. Since that time he changed. Bella, I don't want to see him anymore. He scares me now. That's okay. Nobody's going to force you to do anything. July 2025. 2 years since rock bottom. Today I woke up, looked around my apartment in Katy and saw couch I assembled, TV I bought, bed I paid for, refrigerator full of food I put there. Everything mine. Everything built by me, with my work, without depending on anyone. I'm in my second semester of college. My GPA is 3.8. I work during the day, study at night, take care of my daughters in between. Is it exhausting? Yes. Is it worth it? Every second. Because I'm building something nobody can take from me. Knowledge, independence, future. The girls are fine. Lorena wants to be a lawyer. I think she saw all the legal battle I faced and decided she wants to help other women. Bella wants to be a veterinarian because she loves animals. They have dreams, goals, security. They no longer witness violence, fights, lies. Michael? Last news I had is that he made a deal with the prosecution. 3 years probation, restitution, community service. He avoided prison by testifying against his superiors. He's living with his parents, working some low-paying job, trying to pay back child support and restitution. Amanda is in another state. She doesn't allow him to see the child. He has 2 daughters who barely talk to him, and a son he's never seen. 3 children in the world who carry his last name, but have no present father. That's the legacy he built. And me? I have peace. I have nights of tranquil sleep. I have a bank account I control. I have plans, dreams, future. I look in the mirror and recognize the woman looking back at me. Stronger, wiser, more whole than I ever was when I was happy in that marriage of lies. For you reading this, who might be where I was 2-3 years ago, feeling crazy, hearing you're imagining things, waking up at 3 in the morning with that feeling that something is terribly wrong but unable to prove it, I want you to know, trust yourself. Your intuition isn't betraying you. Your instinct isn't wrong. That inexplicable discomfort, that knot in your stomach when you see him on his phone, that feeling you're being deceived but can't point out exactly how, that's your inner wisdom protecting you. Listen to it. You don't need proof to leave. You don't need to catch him in bed with someone else. You don't need messages, photos, confession. If you're unhappy, if you're exhausted from trying to make sense of behaviors that don't make sense, if you're constantly in defensive mode explaining why you feel uncomfortable, that's reason enough. And if you're afraid of starting over alone, of not making it financially, of not being able to raise children without help, I understand. I had all those fears. But let me tell you a secret. You're stronger, more capable, more resilient than you can imagine now. You'll find strengths you didn't know existed. You'll develop skills you never used. You'll surprise yourself with your own capacity to survive and thrive. Your children will be fine. Better than they'd be witnessing an unhappy marriage, toxic, full of unspoken tension. Children feel everything. They know when something's wrong even if you try to hide it. And it's better for them to see you strong and alone than weak and unhappy in a destructive relationship. Justice can be slow. It can be unfair. It might not give you what you deserve when you deserve it. But true justice, the kind that really matters, is you rebuilding yourself. It's you looking back 1, 2, 5 years from now and realizing you didn't just survive, you flourished. There's life after betrayal. There's joy after pain. There's peace after chaos. There's self-love after years of erasing yourself for someone. There's reconstruction after total destruction. I'm living proof. And you can be too. The door is there. I know it seems impossible to open. I know you're afraid of what's on the other side. I know it's easier to stay in the known, even if the known is painful, than to face the unknown. But the key was always with you. And when you finally have the courage to turn that doorknob and cross to the other side, you'll discover that the freedom waiting for you was bigger, more beautiful, more possible, and more deserved than you ever imagined. You won't just survive. You'll be reborn. And it will be glorious. This is my story, my truth, my journey from destroyed woman to rebuilt woman. If it illuminates the path for a single person who's in darkness now, every tear was worth it. You're not alone. You never were. And you're going to make it. I promise.